perfectly acceptable as a sushi fish.
Is that an American thing then?
What?
Because that's I see it all the time.
It's not just an American thing. You're going to see it all over the place.
Like in Norway.
Except in Japan, though, right?
I haven't been to Japan.
I guess it's changing. That's what the whole podcast was talking about. But.
Yeah, I mean, salmon's a winner. Anyway, let's get into it. Welcome to the podcast, folks. It's the Practical Pistol Show. My name's Ben. Here to answer your shooting questions. Today, we got Les Pepperoni. Say
What's
hi,
up?
Les. Grandmaster Tim.
Hey, what's up?
And Grandmaster Matt.
Hi.
Hi. Yes. I get a lot of shit for you on the podcast still, Matt. The people
Why?
They're like, you're gonna get Matt to say anything but hi, and I'm like,
That's my thing, right?
Everybody needs a thing. All right, guys. Before we get into the topic, which is video games, unbelievably, sort of video games. All right, a couple corporate shill sellout things to take care of. Number one, if you're looking to get into a class with me next year, if you go to my website, click on Take a Class, you'll see a lot of the class links are hot linked, and you can go click on the hot link and register for classes. If none of the classes that are listed there, and I'll give you some locations, Orlando, Austin, Montgomery, Alabama, Dallas, a couple of undisclosed location places, North Dakota, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and there's another one coming together in Atlanta now. If none of those work for you, you can host your own, of course, but the way the schedule's kind of shook out is it's full. So you're going to have to wait until the fall, and I'm getting the fall schedule put together now, but it's going to take some time due to the match schedule. So that stuff is coming. As far as Hopkins, you got to quit mouth breathing, buddy. Anyway, Hopkins is on his remote setup because he's at a match. He's going to kick ass. All right.
In November.
It's warm there.
Yeah, it's like 70 degrees. It's fine.
It's fine in Atlanta. What are you talking about? Like, Atlanta's pretty unpleasant really before this time of year, if you ask me. Anyway, where was I?
Fall schedule.
Oh, yeah, so schedule. So, yeah, if you want to schedule a class, it's going to have to be in the fall. So that's something to start thinking about now, because I would anticipate that by about March of next year, the fall will be...
Is that Pam?
Yeah.
The fall will be full.
Tell her to
All
come
right. And you guys are terrible. All right, and quick pro shop note. We now have in-stock guns, and they're kind of staying in stock. They're not disappearing right away. So if you want a stock 2 or a limited pro, you can go to the pro shop and order them. If you're curious about Black Friday deals, we're putting that together now. So we're recording this on November 5th, and you guys will hear it, I think, the 8th. So this is fairly current. We're putting together Black Friday stuff. I'll get a list of what the deals will be out at some point, but Black Friday through Cyber Monday, we'll run a lot of deals on the pro shop if you're interested in buying some stuff for the holiday season.
So like Tanfo's 50% off?
50% off Tanfolios, that's going to happen for sure.
Good call. Good call. Dry fire targets?
Yeah, free Tanfolio with order of dry fire targets.
Smart.
Honestly. So there's gonna be some pretty cool deals.
Only.
What?
10 millimeter only.
10 millimeter? No, it'll be 10 millimeter magazines.
Right.
All right, let's get into the topic, guys. A pretty interesting email I got, or maybe you'll think it's interesting depending on the age demo of the listeners here. Let's pull it up. Hey, Ben, I'm curious what impact you think video games have on hand-eye coordination and how that relates to USPSA. There are times after work when I say fuck it and play Battlefield instead of dry firing. Now, I'm not delusional enough to think that games are a replacement for dry fire. That's good. It's good he's not that crazy. But it seems like my skills don't degrade as much as when I do play versus watching TV. I'm still able to go to matches and perform my usual B-class level. What is your opinion? Which of us are regular or semi-regular video gamers? I know for me that's a really seasonal activity. Hopkins, you game, I think, occasionally.
Yeah, definitely. More in the winter for sure.
Tim, you're too old for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
This is good. No, you could be the regular, like the sane person. Like, really, you guys are fucking nerds. That you can be that guy.
Okay.
Les, do you play video games at home?
Not at all. No. No, seriously, they make me sick. I throw up from them. Like,
Really?
yeah, like ever since like Doom, like I can't.
Oh, like first-person shooting games, you get because of the narrow field of view, you get motion sickness or something.
Motion sickness real easy. So even in a car or on a boat, on a plane, I gotta take Dramamine or something.
So have you tried getting hopped up on Dramamine and playing video games?
No, I haven't. But the only one video game I think that's kind of cool is the game that's over at Spring, and I think Tim's got that in the basement too, right? So,
Oh yeah.
and I mean that's crazy because that is all hand-eye coordination, and I got hooked on that. And I mean, if you're actually focusing on like that fiber optic or that like front sight thing, then it's not like playing like Call of Duty or something else where the field of motion just kind of shifting. So kind of neat. I think that game is pretty awesome, but other games that I don't know anything about.
I love that game.
The IPSC arcade game?
Yep, got it in my basement. Pretty awesome. That was the coolest birthday present I've ever gotten. And I play it quite regularly.
Okay, well, so for people who don't know, listening, they may not know what's going on.
There's some YouTubes of it too out there.
Yeah,
like,
well, we could just explain it for people who are in their car driving. So there's a video game that essentially is a USPSA stage. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
And you have a gun, and you go through it, and you shoot. I mean, the scoring system's kind of crazy by comparison to actual USPSA. Well,
Yeah.
you get penalized a lot for misses, even if you make them up. But aside from that, I mean, it is USPSA.
I mean,
It's a
it's
lot of fun.
one shot per target, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's one shot per target. But
And
all right. Aside from that, you guys don't play, other video games.
No. I think I've got like every freaking video game system known to man in the house. And the boys play. My kids play it all the time, but I don't. I don't have time. It's not that I wouldn't play. It's really hard for me to find the time to play video games.
Okay. Well, this isn't are video games good or bad use of your time sort of argument.
cause violence.
Yeah, they cause violence. If you play video games. Hey,
Yeah,
Hopkins,
at-
you got
Me.
to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm
There you
here.
go. And now quit touching your screen. Because your microphone's right by it.
Okay.
I love that.
What do you want me to do?
That just do what you're doing now. That's good. All right. I play video games like I said, it's seasonal. So I think you have the hand-eye coordination, and then the other element I think that is present with video games, since I don't play one video game. I mean, I'll play kind of any big releases that I want to play, kind of like when a movie comes out you want to go see, you go see it. If a game comes out I want to play, I get it and I play it. All the controls for the games are a little bit different, so I think there's a learning curve that you go through whenever you start playing a new game or start playing a game again that is like a sequel to a game that you played where things are similar but a little bit different. I think sort of getting your fingers accustomed to pressing different buttons and doing different things to perform different actions, like learning a control scheme and doing that in just a couple hours. I actually think that that's another thing that you get out of games that's really helpful. Am I talking crazy? Does this sound remotely sensible to you, Matt?
No, it makes sense to me. I think another thing is it's a direct action with what your mind is thinking your hands are having to do. So I think that helps with it a lot. And it's like hand-eye coordination, sort of.
Well, yeah.
Because you're like your eyes are telling you where you want to go, and you got to move the mouse or the keypad, whatever, to that spot and pull the trigger or do whatever action you want to do.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same. What I would liken it to is, so if you want to learn a new skill or learn a new technique or change your technique or something, you have to sort of program yourself to do that, either during live or dry fire training or something. And so when I come into position, I want to set my feet like this or something. And you repeat that a bunch until you get it down and you do it without thinking about it. And that's another thing that you do when you start playing a video game. You know, this button does this and this button does that, and it's a little bit different for every game, or it can be a lot different for different games. And that's something that you learn, you get accustomed to, and you're constantly used to changing that stuff. So to me, it seems helpful in that respect. But I'm sure your time is better spent actually training for shooting.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to say it's better than actually training.
No.
That'd be kind of crazy.
That'd be real crazy.
You do make a good point where you're actually repeating the exact same sequences to have an outcome, and doing that a lot trains your brain to eventually do it easier for other things.
Yeah. Tim, do you play games with your kids at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Generally like Call of Duty, because it's one of those things I can jump on, play with them a couple of rounds or whatnot, and then like, okay guys, Dad's gonna go do something else. So
Dad's gonna go do something productive while you guys sit here and rot your brains.
Yeah. Generally it's about the third time of getting my ass completely smoked on a server, with and against my kids too, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Dad totally sucks at this, so.
I'm the guy that like keeps like walking backwards and can't figure out like how to I don't even get it, man. Like the old Nintendo controller, that was like, yeah, I got that, but it's like you can look up. I get like stuck looking up and like running into shit.
So is it really that bad, Les?
I'm horrible. I'm horrible at playing video games just because I don't. It's not something that I would sit and do because I will start to feel pretty ill. But yeah, so it's just on the rare occasion I've been over at like someone's house and they've got like it set up and like sit down, try it out. It's like
so you've never figured out like three-dimensional spatial reasoning?
I have in the three-dimensional spatial reasoning world that is, reality.
But not in a video game.
No. So, I mean, by extension, I guess what you're saying, though, is that, hand-eye coordination, programming a set of movements, stuff like martial arts or boxing or whatever, or hell, even like getting out there and learning how to jump rope or whatever should be a good proxy for teaching yourself new skills. I think I would agree with that, but I don't know, like video games.
I don't think it has to be video games. I think it could be anything, right?
I agree with that, definitely.
I mean, I'm not an uncoordinated person. I think can.
No, you're not an uncoordinated guy at all.
No. So, but it's but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's also too. I stare at a screen for like 12 hours a day doing work, and it's just like it's not.
Yeah. So what's another 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the verdict on this, Les? You think playing video games is helpful or detrimental, or does it really matter for your shooting?
I think playing the right video games is helpful. That's any sports shooting, IPSC, game. That's pretty awesome.
All right.
That's cool as hell.
I will reserve judgment. I feel like playing video games is maybe not harmful, but I don't know that I can't really say that it's helpful. Maybe it's not impossible that it's helpful in some way. Tim, what do you think?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that completely. I think just basing it on solely, I mean, look at like athletes today versus athletes even 20 years ago, or things that require skills that require a lot of hand-eye coordination. I think there is a direct correlation between kind of the youth or people that grew up kind of in the video game era versus the people even 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, I gave that some thought before we recorded this, and I was thinking like, well, you could say young people now grow up with video games, but there's a lot of really young guys that are very coordinated and talented, right?
Absolutely. And
then,
you look at it different.
Young guys are coordinated and talented, 50 years ago too.
That's true, but I think honestly, if we really had to be honest with ourselves, I think when you try to directly, compare, let's say, athletes from yesterday versus athletes from today. Let's take baseball, for instance. And here we go.
You're the only guy. Does anybody else watch baseball?
That's cool, man. Yeah.
Well, you think of like a baseball player today. I mean, you have a pitcher that throws a ball, let's say, at 100 miles an hour. And they've been able to say that a batter is able to spot the pitch and be able to read the ball within like, was it 0.3 or 0.4 of a second, and then be able to reason whether they want to actually even initiate a swing at the ball at that speed in that time constraint versus, I understand guys were pitching balls like 90 to 100 miles an hour even back in the 50s and 60s and stuff, but I think a lot of the batting technique was probably more based on keep your eye on the ball and take a swing. I mean, guys are able to read the pitch now based on I think a lot of that has to do with hand-eye coordination and the kind of the age they grew up in.
I don't know.
I think
the one thing I would also argue, like maybe a counter argument to that, would be the fact that scouting has gotten a lot different for sports like baseball and football, and the talent pool I think that they can draw on, because I think parts of the game are maybe better understood. I think it's maybe a bit different these days. I don't know. I mean, team sports are kind of weird. I mean, one thing that's kind of interesting is, what was it, the Madden football, like you're trying to run down the clock, and then some team did it for real, where they just kind of kept the ball in play and kept running down the clock and ended up winning. I don't know much about football, so someone have to help me out here. But
what the fuck are you talking about? Are you saying the running down the clock thing was invented in a video game?
No, not run. No. But I think
I'm not following because I know shit about football. Like,
yeah, but basically, like, I think it, playing that way, playing like I guess maybe a more kind of like a game of attrition. I think,
like an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. That was popularized by being able to play through so many strategies virtually in a game like Madden or whatever. I don't know if that's just something I've heard. I don't know for real or if that's the case or not. But I think if you look at like solo sports or something like that, if you take the technology element out of something, then I don't know. I think boxing hasn't changed too much. I don't know. Guys like Sugar Ray Robinson, and I mean, I think it's probably equally as good. Maybe he was better than Floyd Mayweather. I don't know. Boxing is, of course, a dying sport in an odd way.
Dude, I'm so lost right now.
I don't think the caliber of athlete has gotten better just because we've got video games. Because I think it goes back to what you said. Young men are talented and coordinated if they find the right venue for outlet. Right. They're going to do it anyway. So I think shooting on a whole is much more acceptable and available than it was, back when. Sorry. But,
I figured that'd be you, Les.
Yeah, sorry, man.
It's okay.
Yeah. But,
I'm not going to lie, I didn't silence my phone either. All right. So the result, like a circle jerk discussion that's ultimately inconclusive.
No, play the right video game and it's awesome. Play the wrong video game and it doesn't do much. That's my take.
So Candy Crush is the game to play, I think.
That's right.
Boom Beach Dog.
No, the farming with friends or whatever. Farm Town.
Farmville. I haven't played that. Those are whatever. All right, let's move on to another question. I think you guys are going to get an interesting reaction out of this. Thanks for the great podcast. I've watched every episode. I switched to a stock 3 about 8 months ago. The finish on the slide has worn almost completely off from dry fire. If I'm not careful, it even starts rusting. What would be my best option to prevent or slow this down? I've thought about Cerakote, but I've heard that will still wear just as much. All right, Hopkins, excessive wear on the gun from too much dry fire. You know all about this, I'm guessing.
Dude, my gun has like marks on it because it's been worn off. So
did you get that shit Cerakoted, or what do you do about it?
no, I leave it there. It's like a scar. It's a scar on your gun to prove you actually use it. There you go. And if you're buying a Safe Queen, don't dry fire it. There you go.
Tim, is he talking sense? Hopkins sounds like he's kind of being a dick, you know? Like,
Hey, I would say
it's a tool. Use it.
Yeah, exactly.
okay.
He's
Hey,
talking
what do you
sense.
do? What do you do if you want to keep your car from wearing out?
Don't drive it.
Right?
That's exactly right.
Park it
Keep it in the
inside.
garage,
Put it under
cover.
cover.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, my guns are the same way as Hopkins. I mean, you guys have seen them. It's slides on my guns are the same way. They're I won't say they're wore out, but the finish is completely worn off of them anywhere the holster makes contact. So I don't. It doesn't bother me. I think it makes a gun look cooler, honestly. I mean, personally, because it just shows like, man, the guy uses the shit out of it. So
Yeah.
that like kind of rat rod is heavily patinaed. You know, it just I like it. I look at a guy that's got a
doesn't
gun.
want his gun to look like shit.
Well, then don't fucking shoot. I don't know what to tell you.
Get a dry fire gun.
Exactly. You
Well,
know?
then that'll just wreck that gun.
Well, use the one that's already wrecked, and then
He
buy a
wants
new
to
one.
wreck no guns.
Too
Oh
bad.
my god.
Wrong sport.
I feel like you'd put more money and effort into trying to not wreck the gun than you would get out of this.
Exactly.
I mean, basically, once my opinion of used guns is like buying a used gun. It's pretty much not used if you buy it in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Because
I
most
would
people buy
definitely say
guns
so.
and don't shoot them. So if I see a used gun at like a sporting goods store, that's usually a pretty good gun to buy. Because it might have like
Maybe 100 rounds through it.
yeah, it's like oh that's they're like oh it's used and you take it apart and it's like this fucker hasn't been shot hardly at all. This thing's good to go, man. I'm gonna ruin this thing, right? So I mean again, if you're gonna dry fire the gun, you're gonna use it, but I get that you don't like the holster wear. I don't think it looks cool or it's a badge of honor like Hopkins thinks. But that's what's going to happen. You could get it Cerakoted, but then that's just going to wear off. I don't know of any of the finishes that aren't going to wear off eventually. The iron
Hard
bond
chrome,
shits-
maybe.
Say, iron bond would probably work the best for a
Iron
dark
bond
cooler
would,
gun.
yeah, that'll hold up the best I think, but I don't really know. I don't.
Or just buy a stainless steel gun.
The molecular stuff that goes into the
Scratch
metal
shit.
is
That
maybe the carbon nitrizing, I think is what it's called, or
Melanite.
it's like what Glock has and stuff like that. Maybe that would hold up. I don't know.
Well, it's going to hold up better, but eventually you're going to fuck it up,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Well, I think that the
Just a
problem
matter
is
of
the
time.
Glock has that black finish that's not the melanite. Like the melanite's on the surface of the steel, and the black stuff is like just a polymer coating, kind of like they put on like pretty much any gun, right? If it's like a carbon steel gun, but I don't know. Yeah, Tim's thing, use a stainless gun. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Well, those look scratched up though.
Yeah, but the thing is you can just have those bead blasted, or
Yeah, call Mike
Dude,
Jenner.
it's still going to cost money, though. I mean,
Jesus.
this is
You
a
could
moot
get your
point.
gun bead blasted every 3 months, like.
Well,
Yeah.
No, you don't. Every 3 months, are you crazy? Jesus.
I don't
No.
know. The whole thing sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got into guns, I was kind of the same way. You know, it's like, oh man, the gun's pretty, and oh, I don't want to scratch it, and yeah. Then when you start to learn to use it, and it's like I kind of with Matt, it's more of like a badge of honor now. It's like, you know, going to the range with a gun that's heavily worn is just like, yeah, it's because I shoot the shit out of it. And it's a tool, you know.
I don't know. I'm more sympathetic to this guy's plight. I just don't know the solution for him.
Sell him another stock 2.
Yeah, well, no, he has a stock 3.
Or stock 3, yeah.
Yeah, go buy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're gonna put so much money into it anyway to try and prevent this from happening. It's just not. I don't think it's worth it. But if you want to try one of those coatings like Les is talking about, maybe that would work better.
Your best bet is to just keep shooting the damn thing until it looks so ugly you can't say anymore, and then just sell it off and buy another one.
No, because by the time that happens, it's right. The gun's smoked.
Well, yeah. Okay, so then you just, exactly.
I've got a couple Berettas that I wouldn't feel right selling, you know, because they're so jacked up. Were you really?
Hell no.
Damn it. Oh. So this
dry fire gun.
My dry fire gun?
Maybe he has a dry fire gun, right?
Yeah. We'll see what you think. You can look at them sometime. All right, guys. Well, I'm glad we could provide a productive answer to this guy's question.
You know, I'll say one thing real quick. Other than the coatings, right? You know, doing it right.
I was being sarcastic when I said the productive answer. There's not a good solution.
Right. But if you're doing it right and you're shooting, I don't know, tens of thousands of rounds or whatever and dry firing a lot and everything, you're going to burn more time and money in the form of ammo. Like even if you buy a real baller stock 3 or Extreme that Eric Groffel has dipped in the blood of virgins from France or something, then it's still a drop in the water, compared to your ammo bill, right?
I don't think you're making him feel a lot better. Guy emails with it like, hey, I've been trying this practice thing, my gun's all scratched up, and they're like, oh, a scratched up gun? You ain't seen nothing yet, buddy. Like, you wait till you get the ammo bill, and you get the tendinitis, and then you fuck your knee up at a match, and then you get tinnitus. Man, you're just getting started, son.
Yeah. Well, we've got one thing to tell that guy, and that is, harden the fuck up. Take your ATFU pills and don't worry about it. Just sell it on eBay. Shoot it a lot. 5-yard bill drills. Absorb the mics.
Go fast. I love it. All right, another bang-up show, guys. If you have any shooting questions you'd like to send to us, head to BenStoeger.com. Shoot me an email. We'll probably get to your question on the show, and if not, I'm sorry. We'll do our best.